It's my pleasure to introduce to you my second week assistant, Yuchi Chou, who is finishing her doctoral degree at Binon School of Music at Northwestern University. Perhaps you would like to say a couple of words about yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Yuchi, and I was born in Taiwan. I got my bachelor's degree at Oberlin Conservatory as a pianist, and I continue on pursuing degrees in conducting at San Francisco Conservatory, and then now here at Binon School of Music. And I'm very glad to be coming back to Door County for the second summer. I had such a great experience for the first summer. It was such a refreshing experience because it's probably the only orchestra that I've seen that actually take so much care and dedicate so much into their playing. They are not there just for the work. They actually want to be there, they want to play. And that's so refreshing in this fast-moving industry in the country right now. I think that's very moving, very refreshing, and I'm very glad to be back.
Thank you, Yuchi. Yuchi was working with the female chorus to accompany Planets by the host. I remember Planets, right? Yeah, very well. So I'm very glad she will be coming back, and she will also participate in the second week of our festival. Let's just go into the programming of the second week. We have established very fine tradition to start second week of the festival with music of the Baroque era. And this time the public will be introduced, or some of them will know it's probably more than just the first performance, I guess. Music by Johann Sebastian Bach and Handel. So the first piece is going to be a concerto by Johann Sebastian Bach for violin and oboe, which will be performed by our new concert master, Igor Yuzefovich, and principal oboe, Eric Olson. Both of those performers are magnificent musicians. Both of them are wonderful collaborators, and I'm looking forward to work with them again in a soloistic capacity. And then I will conduct the first suite from the Water Music by Handel. After intermission, we are going to ask Igor Yuzefovich to come back and play violin concerto by Johann Sebastian Bach in A major. And we will finish an evening with Royal Fireworks by Handel. So this is a combination of two giants of Baroque, high Baroque era will be presented in that concert.
Are you going to have firework at the end of the concert?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it will be.
We'll work on that.
Well, we will have some minimal fireworks allowed by our fire marshal. Yes, you remind me of the fire system which is installed in Gibraltar High School, because I remember that this alarm went off one time, and at that time it started not in the building of the school, but in a football field, because there were kids who were playing, and one of them threw the ball into some kind of wires and started alarm. And what was going on stage was very interesting, because I had a guest pianist who was just finishing second movement of Emperor Concerto with a nice B major chord and nice soft transition into the finale. And suddenly this alarm went off. This alarm could not be shut off by anybody but fire marshal of Fish Creek. So we had to call them, and it took good 20 minutes of this wonderful musical alarm sound. Well, I guess those days are history of music festival. Anyway, I also think that you will participate in that program as a harpsichord player. If you are not aware of that, I'm hiring you.
Oh, good that I took some harpsichord class when I was in grad school.
Very well. I'm so happy about it. All right. Now we are carrying on to the Thursday program, which is a second installment of my mini fest, which is called Russian Wonders. And again, it's a program dedicated to works of one composer, and this time it is a Sergei Prokofiev, and who also went to the same conservatory, St. Petersburg Conservatory, and walked the same marble stairs up. And as you remember, on the first landing, there is a huge marble plaque with names of graduates in gold who received higher honors. And of course, Tchaikovsky was right there. And so in Prokofiev later on also was there. Now, Sergei Prokofiev played an enormous role in my own life, mainly because of his violin and piano music, since I was son of a pianist and accompanist to one of the greatest Soviet violinists, David Oistrakh, and I was exposed to music of Prokofiev since I was probably 3 or 4 years of age. Since I remember myself, I remember his both violin sonatas, the F minor sonata and then the flute sonata, which Oistrakh also transcribed for violin, and other short works by Prokofiev like 5 melodies and some transcriptions from his ballet Romeo and Juliet. So all of those works by Prokofiev were very close to me. As a matter of fact, my mother, who was also a pianist, loved to play early works, short works for piano by Prokofiev. So I really loved his music since I was a little boy. Now I'm presenting to you very interesting program of Prokofiev, representing 3 periods of his compositional career. The first piano concerto, which he wrote for his graduation from St. Petersburg Conservatory in one movement, followed by his third piano concerto, which became literally world famous concerto and the most performed by Sergei Prokofiev. Both of them will be played by young Russian-American pianist Inna Falix, who is originally from Odessa, from Ukraine, but grew up in Chicago and went to the Music Institute on the North Shore. And at the moment, she is professor of piano at UCLA. So we will be very, very, very happy to invite her to the Peninsula Music Festival, performing these 2 magnificent works by Prokofiev. After intermission, I will conduct an unusual symphony by Prokofiev, his Symphony No. 6, which is written after the end of Second World War, which represent very different time in his life, which represent perhaps the deepest and the tragic elements of his compositional technique, which we usually do not hear at all for people who are accustomed to his wonderful ballet Romeo and Juliet, or to his piano concertos and violin concertos. And so this symphony is one of my most personal favorites, and the reason I am bringing it to our public because, as I mentioned to you before, I have such an enormous trust in musical depth and the taste of our public today that I'm not afraid to throw at them a piece which could be considered not a warhorse, but a very deep and introvert piece of a great Russian composer, Sergei Prokofiev. And we're going to finish third week with another interesting tradition, which is a choral concert. And this time it will be music of Mozart. So this concert will have an overture to his opera Impresario, and then his greatest symphony ever written by Mozart, which is a Jupiter, number 41, and then his Requiem. And we are going to invite another chorus from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it will be their first appearance with the Peninsula Music Festival. The soloists are also wonderful people. I know some of them very well. Some of them will be returning to their county, like Kimberly McCord and Tracy Watson. They will be returning to our festival. The tenor and baritone will make their first appearances, but you will love them all. And so this is the end of my second week. I think you will be playing something for the Requiem as well.
Oh,
but I'm not sure. By the way, speaking of your involvement, I like also to tell our listeners that the Prokofiev always loved to have a grand concert piano as a part of orchestral texture. And for those people who will hear that performance of Prokofiev Symphony Number 6, will hear the grand piano on stage performed by Yuchi. In case you didn't know that, and there is a cellist too, but it's good to know in advance what you're going to do.
Okay.
You know?
We actually performed that symphony here 2 years ago.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. I don't remember if I played the harpsichord, but I remember you had me do the sectional, the wind sectional for the second movement. It was quite something.
Well, I'm glad you have inner knowledge now about the symphony. Now you're going to play piano and cellist.
Okay.
And finally, it is a video presentation, which I like to continue on this Thursday, showing our public pictures of young composer, middle-aged composer, and after Second World War composer, and his surroundings, maybe more pictures of his beloved St. Petersburg Conservatory. But I believe that it will help our public to listen to this work, because when you hear music which is so moving and deep and tragic, but you actually see the pictures of devastated land after the Second World War, it will make the listening so much more easier to understand and participate. So Yuchi and I will work on this presentation too.
Yes.
Thank you very much.